Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy. This is our first time in AZ with the wider wheelbase at 90 inches. We're gonna run a trail we haven't done in a while that's super sick. You guys are gonna love it. We're out here with C and Virgil in the 7X buggy. We're gonna be taking a lot of pictures of our merch so you guys can check it out. Merch in the field, on the trail. Hopefully we don't get broke off. This trail can be a little shiesty. We're bringing you along with, so stay tuned. Whoop. Fashion, 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 fashion.
Got me wearing strange stuff, you think I'm loco. It's just a poncho. Heads are turning one by.
Good old OnX pulled through with us. Found the trail. Man, it's been a while since I've ran this trail. Number one thing I remember about this trail is the rocks are super freaking sharp. And man, do they want to pop tires. They're like knife blades. So that's one thing I gotta pay attention to today. As long as I can do that and drive well, I think we're gonna be all right.
If you look at the bottom of this wash, you'll see how flat and sharp the rocks are. One of the many different types of rock and trail styles Arizona has to offer. My head is on a swivel not only to navigate up the uneven crevassed waterfall, but also to not mash or bind up a tire on a crazy sharp rock. The rock in this draw is very brittle and unpredictable. When navigating through this draw, seeing the line and driving it is important, but feeling by the seat of your pants is just as important. So when you feel the tire slipping out, you can make the proper corrections. Otherwise, you end up falling in just like I did.
I see a lot of big holes. Big holes.
Virgil wasn't kidding. At the top of this waterfall, there are two massive holes. Unfortunately, the only way to find them is with your front tires by falling into them. After going through it and being able to see the top, the best line would be to keep your passenger tire on the small ridge and your driver's tire in between the two holes.
There's that hole out there. All right, here we go.
Favorite kind of trails are the ones that are jam-packed with obstacles, one right after another. This trail is exactly that. The beginning of this trail is literally 4 waterfalls, one right after another, making you work and testing your driving ability and giving you the most of what you came out here to do, crawl rocks. This is Virgil's first time on this trail. If you didn't know, he has a super narrow axle width. He's over a foot narrower than my rig. This is a huge advantage for when he competes in rock crawling competitions like we rock. But on the trail, your axle width being wider or narrower has its advantages and disadvantages. So far, he's killing it, and being narrower has really helped him fit on this super tight trail.
Man, this trail so far is super raw. There's just not a whole lot of lines that you know where to take. It's super jagged. It hasn't been worn in. You really got to pay attention to everywhere you go, because if you're not paying attention, you're going to hit a sharp rock that hasn't been broken off. You might get a rolly rock that'll pitch you on your side. You might even step on a cactus that you weren't looking at and go right through your foot like Colby. Well, you're good now?
Still hurts.
Still hurts? Colby took a cactus right to the foot. Daddy Bronson had to get in there and go, yeah. It's about that long. Ugh. But she tough. All right, on to the next one.
This is now the 5th consecutive waterfall, and of course the biggest one is at the top. They just keep getting bigger and bigger. Once we get up this, we'll complete the first section, the waterfall section of this trail. Then things are gonna get a little bit more technical and a lot wilder. This trail has been rad so far, but we have to make sure to stick to the plan and get rad rec gear merch picks on the trail. We've been working hard coming out with some legit rock crawling merch, you can wear to not only show your support for the channel, but to also come up with real off-road lifestyle clothing you can be proud to wear. But before we do that, let me pull out some cactus needles out of my shoe that's been poking me for the last 3 waterfalls.
I was like, what are you doing?
I was like, is it pokey? I was like, yes, it's pokey.
I was like, what are you doing?
What a better place to take rad pics than in a gnarly crack that is so high I can literally swing from the bottom of my axles.
This makes me slightly nervous.
I just missed it, but Jess had to walk underneath there to go up front to get some merch photos. Because that's the deal, like we needed some photos for merch. That's why we came out, and we just decided why not hit this crazy trail we haven't done in a long time. That's how wheeling works. She's walking underneath the rig and she's super scared. And I'm like, dude, it's fine. But I've got to remember, like, this is crazy. We're just super numb to it because we're always doing this stuff. But typically I would never recommend anybody to walk underneath this. But due to what we do, that's pretty normal standard stuff. It's not like a big deal. But you guys should never do that. We're YouTube professionals.
Now that we got some banging merch pics, I had to hop back in the rig and drive the rest of this crack. Just when you get to the end, you think you're through it. And then you realize you have to transition out of the crack into a waterfall, which gets crazy tippy as your driver front and passenger rear are the only 2 tires with good contact. And the other 2 tires are teeter-tottering back and forth. I drive slowly and pay attention to my tire placement and the feel for my car as I work the fronts up the face of the waterfall and my rears into the bottom of the crack before crawling up the rock face. Remember how we were talking about the pros and the cons of axle width? Narrow axle width on this crack is way harder. The further down in the crack, the more vertical the crack walls are, making it harder to keep from slipping into the crack. Virgil's driver front slips down, but he felt it in turn driver into the wall, catching him before he fell all the way in. He then goes for a front dig crack correction. By using his front only and holding his rear brakes, it allows your fronts to spin without your buggy moving forward. If you do this and turn into the wall of the crack that you slipped off, you can climb back up it and level yourself out onto the line. Virgil executed it perfectly and finishes the crack moving into the crack to waterfall transition. His narrow axle widths help him out here as he isn't as high up on the crack and transitions with little to no teetering.
The crack, you gotta start from there.
The crack, I'm not wide enough. Pretty wide, but not wide enough. It went in this way. Said, little gas ought to do it. Gassed it through, that fell in this way, gassed out of that, and here I am at the top.
That story was about as funny as his shirt, huh? Don't worry, you can buy those on wreckgear.com. Go check them out.
As I head up the next section, forgetting to wait for Jess to get some outside of the rig footage, I end up falling into a gnarly hole. I get so wrapped up in getting out of that, I end up taking the wrong line. See that shelf on the right? That's where I was supposed to go. At the time, I had no idea. Going up a rough technical breakover and ending up in a crack that I thought was insane from inside the rig.
Holy shit, took the wrong turn. Nobody does that crack. They go up that right wall and I was too busy just trying to get out of the way for Virgil to get pictures, and I took the left and I was all of a sudden in the crack I didn't want to be in. And I've never seen someone do that crack, and I just did it. But I was kind of pooping my pants there for a minute. I thought I was going to be upside down. Oh my God, what was I thinking?
Turns out it wasn't as crazy as I thought, and there was plenty of sign of people driving through that crack. But when I was driving it, I didn't know that, and was way too pumped up for nothing.
We got Virgil here. He's gonna be going through this obstacle that I didn't get to film Bronson for, so check it out. Oh, and be sure to follow us on Instagram if you want to stay up to date. So I'm pretty sure this video is going to come out a week or two after it happens. So stay up to date. You can't tell, but oh Jesus. I was going to say that tire's floating, but you can tell now. Oh. Yes. Man, he is up there. Am I pointing to it? Yeah, look. I don't know if that showed any perspective, but it was insane. So if you can tell, I'm wearing a backpack. And that's because we're doing some photos with our merchandise. So if you haven't checked it out already, go check us out. RecGear.com. That's www.recgear.com. Check out our merch. Maybe pick up a thing or two. Got some bags, hats, some shirts, hoodies, some crack addicts. You're gonna like it.
Woo! That Virgil's a freaking driver. You always know a driver because you saw him trying to figure that out, and it took some freaking work. He sat and figured it out, but when he got it, he crawled right up it. Freaking slick. Super sketchy. Mega consequences backwards. Mega consequences on the driver's side if he slipped off the edge. That's what makes this stuff so freaking exciting. Check this out. Halfway through the trail, all you other guys, I know it's October and it's getting cold. It's 95 degrees out here. It is hot. But we scored one of these for like $100. Sight shades, dude. It's like a freaking awning you can almost put in your freaking pocket. But we're just kicking back, hanging out under the shade, trying to take a little break because it is hot. And you know how I was telling you guys about how sharp the rock is around here? Well, let me tell you, they're super sharp. I just tried to sit down, and when I sat down, I slid on this rock, and check out what it did. It? Straight through the outer chonies.
Outer chonies?
Freaking
most people call those shorts.
My chony covers.
Chony cover.
All right, we just had a sick break, chilling under the sunshade. Got some more pictures of merch so that way the merch looks like where it should be out on the trail. And we're about 2/3 through the trail. We're gonna wrap this up and get through the rest of this section. We've done the hard parts. That was the super gnarly stuff. There's a couple hardies coming, but nothing we can't handle compared to what was back there. So we're gonna get on the way.
I act like the rest of this trail is gonna be no big deal. Then the next obstacle I get on, I throw my front driver tire way in the air. I go to get my back through and I turn way too hard into the rock, grabbing too much traction, binding up my rear axle like crazy. So I have to back out a little and realign. Virgil also throws some tire, but drives on through. Then lines up the rears way better than I did, driving right up the obstacle. Now we're in a bit of a sidewall section. With the rear steer, we like to use what we call a crab walk. That's where you're turning your front axle and your rear axle the same direction, which allows you to drive forwards and sideways at the same time, all the way across the face of the rock. Once you crab through the obstacle, you can put it in front dig to slide the front down to straighten out your car.
Front dig, just a hair. Virgil, you know what this means? Getting crabby.
Oh, that's your crabby?
Getting crabby.
If you went like that, I go, oh, crab.
Yeah, that's what I
This
do.
way, I was like, are you talking?
Dude, that's
No,
funny.
I knew what he
That's
was doing.
talking. This is crab.
Yeah, I pinch.
That is the legit. Dude, some of the obstacles in here are different, huh?
Yeah.
Like crabbing out of that, dude, you're like,
Well-
I don't know.
You went around, and then I started going through, and I go, oh, I bet I could drive right through the hole. So I backed up, and then I looked over and
That's
go,
what I
God,
did.
that hole's deep.
That's what I did, and I was like, oh, I'll just ride the hole and come out eventually. And it says, no, you're staying here.
Yeah, that hole.
And then I tried again, and it said, I told you, you're staying in
I
here.
thought I was narrow, so I could scoot right through the hole. Then I looked, I go, that's a deep hole. I'm just going to
Yeah.
go around.
Yep. And then this one, so you see the rocks on the side?
Yeah.
You just stay high on this side, so that way your chassis will bump into those. Because, you know, if you go at it, it won't let you climb. You'll sit there and you just fight it. But if you go high, it'll let you climb. But for C and your sake, the rocks here hold your chassis, so you're safe. It does feel weird if you don't think about the rocks holding you. But when you're like, oh, the rocks are going to hold me, you're good.
Okay.
That was a little trickier than I anticipated.
We're at the end of the trail. I can't show you how to get here. I can't show you how to get out of here. That's for you guys to get in your own rigs and find and explore all the amazing trails. If I took that fun away from you guys, what kind of person would I be? But anyway, we had a great time. Virgil and C's first time on this trail. They freaking kicked butt. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. You guys saw us get some good shots of the new Rec Gear merch. We do still have some available. Jump on there. It has been going quick, and we sure do appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, give us some love, and we'll catch you on the next video. Woo! Woo!
What happened?
We are 3 minutes from home, and we lost the tire pretty freaking bad.
Where's the rest of it? Colby, where's the rest of it? The rest of our tires over here. So you've had 2 blowouts today.
What? This one? Double blowouts.
How far away from home?
3 freaking minutes away from home. You know what? If everything went perfect, it wouldn't be a good story. So luckily for you guys, hopefully this is a good story.
Sponsored in part by Dirty Life Race Wheels, BFGoodrich Tires, Warren Industries, KC HiLites, and Axle Off-Road Helmets. Best way to support this channel is give that subscribe button a little skiddly do, diddle that notification bell, give this video the fat finger, and leave a dirty little comment below. Rec Gear now has merch and buggy accessories at recgear.com, so don't forget to go spend that money that mama don't know about. As always, thanks for watching.